Dear colleagues, good afternoon. My name is Sofija, and during the last 5 years, I was a PI of the ERC BIRTH project, in which we investigated biology and culture behind fertility increase in the Balkans. So in the region, which was one of the route for the spreading of the Neolithic into Europe. Idea for today's presentation is to point out some our results when it comes to biological and nutritional changes we detected during the Neolithic demographic transition. So during the period when probably for the first time demographic increase of humans took place. But so far, there are no biological evidences that Neolithic females indeed had more babies than Mesolithic ones. So in order to detect it, life was more stressful for the Neolithic females than for the Mesolithic ones. We took approach to analyze the tooth cementum, tooth annulation cementum, and to try to detect so-called crisis line on teeth, which are formed in our tooth cementum during the year of life when stressful events took place. As pregnancy is only one of the reasons which may contribute to the creation of the crisis line, we cannot be sure that each line which we detect represent the pregnancy. However, by counting those lines, we can investigate individual level of physiological stress during the lifetime and to compare, did this stress increase with Mesolithic, or, for example, was it different for females and males? And our results indeed indicate that Neolithic females, red in this block spot on the right side, that females really experience the increase of physiological stress compared to the Mesolithic ones. And which is also a very interesting finding is that the situation is opposite with the males, who actually with the Neolithic experience decrease of stress, physiological stress, which could maybe mean that that we know from the teeth who paid more for the fertility increase in the Neolithic. Tooth say that was females. So that probably the biology of Neolithic females also had changed. We have indication from the study of the pelvic bones. We need more studies and larger samples in the future. But what we found, as you see in this pelvis below, this is the Neolithic. In the middle is the Mesolithic pelvis. And what we see is that pelvis becomes more wider in the Neolithic and probably more favorable for the pregnancy and birth. Of course, we don't know, is it biological change or populational change which brought female with more wider pelvises. When it comes to our attempt to analyze the fertility rate through the density of the archaeological sites during the Neolithization of the Balkans, our new C14 days show sharp increase, which started 6,200 BC. And our simulation of demographic models suggests very high fertility rate, probably even 8 to 10 children per female, and very speed the process of the expansion, like 2 kilometers per year. So for us, it is quite obvious that fertility increase took place in the Neolithic, but what was cultural support for this increase is probably one of the most interesting questions. And I'm sure that when archaeologists start to look onto artifacts from the motherhood perspective, many new findings will appear. One such artifact, which really may tell a lot about changes in the nutritional choices of the Neolithic babies, are small bone spoons Thousands of those spoons are found in the Anatolia and in the Balkans, with a lot of use whereof on it, and by archaeologists interpreted as tools of unknown function. Our idea was, I think, very logical one, that spoons, the small bone spoons, were actually spoons for baby feedings. And in order to test this idea, we actually experimentally produced the mark of milky teeth on animal bones. And actually, when we compared morphology and metric of the experimental findings and what we have on spoons, I think that we can be very sure that spoons indeed were spoons for the baby feeding. What is important here is actually that amount of the spoons present in Neolithic probably indicate that some new type of gruel become widely present with the onset of the Neolithic, and actually allow mothers to shorter breastfeed their babies. And also maybe new type of easily available baby gruel contributed to the changes of the organization of the baby care from the Neolithic, and actually allow other members of community to be involved much more in the baby care. And from my perspective, changes in the system of the cooperative breeding, so which present the system in which family members other than mother and father are included in a baby care, was the most important for the support of the Neolithic demographic transition. And finally, when it comes to the ancient motherhood, I see that most interesting new direction will actually be investigation of the system of the cooperative breeding within society, and that research of the role of grandmothers and siblings, something similar Katarina mentioned at the beginning, actually will provide new directions for our understanding of the ancient motherhood. Thank you so much.